In this lesson on templates and plotting, we're going to talk about creating object lines using the offset command, using the mirror command, and using the array command. To demonstrate how to use a template file and title block, we're going to do a drawing called the Geneva Cam. To start this, we're going to verify that the construction layer is our current layer, and then we are going to go up to our draw panel on our home tab, select our construction line tool, and we're going to specify point. We want to do 5, 4.5 as our center point. And then from there we want to draw a vertical line and a horizontal line to start out our drawing. Zoom out just a little bit here. And then we want a line that's at 30 degrees. So we're going to use relative coordinate entry by doing @2 less than 30, enter, and it will create a 30-degree line. We'll right click to finish that command. And now we should have the center of where we're going to end up having our circle. To do that, we're going to go ahead and draw a circle, and we're going to do center radius. We'll select the center of these lines as our center point, and we want to type in 0.75 as the radius and select enter. We also need circles at a radius of 1.25, 2, 4, and 4.5. Once we have our circles drawn on our construction layer, we're going to go ahead and switch to our object layer so that we can start drawing the actual objects of our Geneva Cam. Switch to object lines. We're then going to select the circle center radius command again. We're now going to draw a circle that is centered on all of the circles in the construction layer and has a radius of 4. We're going to repeat the circle command, pick the right intersection of the horizontal line and the 4.5-inch radius circle, and we are going to create a circle that has a 1.5 unit radius. The last circle that we're going to create is going to be right here at this intersection. Notice the intersection icon, and we want that one to be a circle with a radius of 0.25. We're now going to use the offset command to offset this particular line. One of the things I want you to pay attention to is that we are on the object lines layer. But if I select offset, it's going to want me to identify how far to offset. I'm going to type in 0.25, select enter, and then I will select this particular line right here, the inclined line that we selected earlier, and I'm going to offset below it. Notice that the new line created by the offset command is placed on the same layer as the line we selected to offset. Which layer is current does not matter. The offset object will always be on the same layer as the original object. We're going to go ahead and zoom in just a little bit on this particular drawing. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my snaps now, even though I'll leave my grid on. That way the cursor does not jump around very much. I'm going to pull this down a little bit so I can see this a little bit better. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to select the line command, and we're going to draw a line from this intersection up to this intersection. This creates the edge, one of the edges of our Geneva Cam. We're going to right click and select enter. I now want to use trim and erase to get down to just the piece that I can mirror and rotate. So I'm going to go ahead and say trim. I'll select all of these objects. The blue objects is what I want. And then also this object here and this object here to go ahead and start getting rid of the pieces that I desire to not have. And then I can erase this one and erase this one to where all we have left is this particular piece. Now I can use the mirror command to mirror this particular object across a line. So I want to use a selection window. So I'm going to create a selection window by clicking in the upper left and going down to the lower right. In AutoCAD, creating the selection window from left to right selects only objects that fall entirely within the selection area. If I were to select from right to left, which is called a crossing selection, it selects objects within and objects crossing the selection area, which is not actually what I want. So I'm going to hit escape, and I'm going to do a selection window from left to right. I'm going to right click to accept the selection. Then I'm going to go up here and select the mirror command. It's going to ask me to specify first point mirror line. It can be anywhere along this horizontal line. I'm going to select that one, and notice that it gives me a preview of what it looks like when I draw a line. I'm going to select any point along this one, so I'll go ahead and select that. And it's going to ask me, do you want to erase source objects, yes or no? No is in the little brackets, which means if I hit enter, it will say no. So I could actually right click and select enter, and it will not erase the source objects, which is good. That's what we want. I can now use the array command. We can make multiple copies of objects in polar, rectangular, or path arrays, which is patterns. For polar arrays, we control the number of copies of the object and whether the copies are rotated. For rectangular arrays, we control the number of rows and columns and the distance between them. We want to select the polar array. So I'll go up here to where it says array. That's rectangular. If I hit the drop down, I also have path array here or polar. Polar is what I'm going to select. It's going to ask me to select objects. I'm going to do another selection window and select all of those objects there, and then right click to end the selection. It's going to ask me to specify the center point of the array. To specify the center point of the array, I'm just going to click right here on the center of all of these circles, and you're going to notice that it arrays it around the circle. Now we have options up here. In the array creation ribbon bar, I can select how many items I want, the distance between them, and what angle to fill. By default, it has gone to 6 items with an angle between them of 60 degrees and a fill of 60, which is what we want. But we could have modified some of these and said 5, and then move down here, and you notice that we would now have 72 degrees between them, and there would only be 5, but notice that they don't touch each other. We could also say, instead of filling 360 degrees, I want to fill 300 degrees, and you'll see that we would then have 575 filling 300 degrees. But I want 6 units, so I'm going to confirm that that's it. I also want to make sure that associative is selected, meaning we can come back and modify this array if we felt like it. That rotate items is selected, so that the items do rotate around the center as they go, and then the direction is selected as well. Once that's done, I can select close array, and you can see that we have a beautiful drawing here of a Geneva wheel. I need to construct 2 more circles and a little keyway that is 0.36 units by 0.2 units. I'm now going to complete the right side view and all of the required dimensions to make this a usable drawing.